So normally by this time we would know who was elected president of the United States. I am going to say some things that some of you are not going to agree with, and I understand that we all have our views, but I just ask you to hear me out, listen, and try your best to be as objective as possible. There's a lot of things that have gone on during this election cycle that is definitely cause for concern as far as the legitimacy of our elections are concerned. And I don't think Donald Trump is the danger to US elections, contrary to what the media says. I think it's actually the media. There's several things that happened last night that are baffling to me that I'm trying to wrap my brain around understanding. And I saw it happening in real time. I saw, as polls opened up and as different states begin to show numbers, I was kind of watching Florida because that's the state that people normally watch, the swing state. Normally, that state could go in either direction, although you can normally kind of tell where Florida is going to go by the time you get to about Northwest Florida. That's the area that I lived for 22 years. And yesterday, as the votes in Florida were coming in and they started to get toward Northwest Florida and Donald Trump was ahead, I was like, oh, he's got Florida. That's it. It's a wrap. But for whatever reason, they hesitated and they waited for a long time to call Florida. Same thing with Texas. It was close in Texas for a little bit. And then when Donald Trump pulled away, I was like, oh, he got Texas. But they refused. And on all of the media websites I went to, it doesn't matter where it is, nobody would call it for Trump. This is not about whether you voted for Trump or didn't vote for Trump. This is really about the legitimacy of our elections and how I believe we are being held hostage by traditional media. I'm going to go to a map for those of you who are listening. If you go to my YouTube page, you go to YouTube and type in Brook Nom, you'll be able to see this. And if you're not following me on Instagram, you can look me up, Brook Nom's World. But I'm going to transition to a map and I'm going to show you some things that I have questions about. So let's get to that. So let me widen this out. So for those of you who are watching me on video, I have a map up, and this is so I got both Fox News and Yahoo News up. Yahoo News, I think, is more left-leaning, probably more centrist. Fox News, some people say it's right-leaning, but I personally think Fox News is controlled opposition. That's just my personal opinion. You don't have to agree. But I'm going to show you some things that I don't understand. Okay, so Arizona. Now, I don't know enough about Arizona, so I can't really say. And I don't know about the precincts that have already reported, but 84% votes counted. This is as of 6 a.m. Central Time, Wednesday, November 4th. Biden has 1.4 million votes and Trump has 1.3 million votes. And the state is called for Biden. Okay, the interesting thing about that is, now, of course, all right, so in Arizona, you have 84%, like I said, of precincts counted. And I don't know how the precincts break down, so it might be just my lack of understanding in the way precincts are counted. But I think that's 100,000 votes roughly a little bit under. I think it's kind of close, but I could be mistaken. Okay, you look in Michigan. Michigan has 88% of votes counted, and Donald Trump is up by roughly 50,000 votes. State isn't called for Trump. Pennsylvania. Now this one gets me. So this is why this one gets me. And this is why I say the media is really holding the country hostage. And I do believe that there's fraud and there's cheating going on. I might be banned off YouTube for saying this, but I'm just looking at what I'm looking at. Okay, so Pennsylvania, 64% of votes counted. And Trump is up by 600,000 plus votes. And I believe Pennsylvania stopped counting last night, if I'm not mistaken. If I understand it correctly, they said it's going to take, till Friday to count, which is, I've never seen this happen in an election. Now, I know we got the whole mail-in ballot thing, which personally, I believe if your ballot, this is what I believe should happen. And I could be wrong. Say what you will. If your ballot hasn't come in on election day or at bare minimum the day after, it's over. It's a wrap. We shouldn't go weeks counting votes. And the reason I say that, it's not about who you want to win or who I want to win. It's about the integrity of the election. Forget about who either side wants to win. Even if the guy I want to win loses, I want the election to be counted, tallied, and decided on election day, and at a bare minimum the next day. I don't want it to go for weeks, days, because in my opinion, that opens the floor up for fraud. You might disagree, and I understand that. Now, I don't know the precincts that have come in, that have been tallied, and that have been counted in Pennsylvania. I don't know how the population breaks down. So I don't know. I can't say. But it'll be really interesting if Biden is able, with a little over a quarter of the vote left in Pennsylvania, if Joe Biden is able to not only close the gap between that 600,000 votes, but overtake Donald Trump in Pennsylvania. Now, again, I don't understand how the population breaks down, so I may be naive, and maybe that does happen. So in Georgia, 94% of precincts counted. 94%. Trump is up by, what is that? Roughly 100,000 votes. And they still have not called the state of Georgia for Donald Trump. Nobody finds that odd. Now remember, in Arizona, and again, this may be my naivete, I don't know how the population of Arizona breaks down. I don't know what precincts have already reported, so that this may be my naivety, but they have called Arizona for Biden with 84% of the votes counted. This is according to Yahoo News, and unless they're mistaken and there's more counted, maybe there's more information out there that I don't have this morning, which is possible. But Trump is trailing Biden by a little under 100,000 votes, and they're already calling it for Biden. But again, go back to Georgia. Trump is leading Biden by roughly 100,000 votes, with 94% of votes counted, and they're still not calling that state for Trump. We go to the state of North Carolina. In North Carolina, 94% of the votes counted, and they are not calling the state for Trump. So what that means is, if you were to look at, so when you look at the electoral votes, it's showing that Joe Biden has slightly more electoral votes, a little bit over 20 more electoral votes than Donald Trump. Why are they doing this? And in my opinion, it's about optics. It's about optics. If they can constantly sell you the optics that, oh, Biden is leading. And again, this is not about who you want to win, who I want to win, who conservatives want to win, who liberals and libertarians want. This is not about that. This is about what is the media doing, and are they the biggest threat to our elections? Because I do believe the media is trying to slow walk us into a Biden presidency. I'm not going to tell you the world is going to end if Biden becomes president. The world is going to continue as it has. God's plan is going to be worked out regardless of whether Donald Trump or Joe Biden is elected. The thing is, I think that there are powers at work that are trying to force feed Joe Biden down our throats. You see, I believe in the 2016 election, we had, and I've heard people say this yesterday, and I agree, I believe we had a glitch in the system. And I think Donald Trump was and is that glitch in the system. He is an anomaly. They can't figure this out. How did this guy win? What happened? How did he beat Hillary? And I believe that the media, the establishment, both Republicans and Democrats, look at the amount of Republicans who retired. And I've never seen this many or to this degree of politicians retire after Donald Trump got elected. It was a slew of Republicans. What's going on? Why did all these people retire? That might be nothing, but that's a little suspicious. Donald Trump is an outsider, and I believe he upset the whole system, and they have never forgiven him for it. Again, this is not about who you want to win or who I want to win. This is about who is legitimately winning. And when I'm looking at this stuff, it doesn't make sense. I look at Michigan. You got 88% of the votes counted. Trump is up by 55,000 votes. So that one is close, and I get it. They're not calling that one either way. The state is kind of showing pink if you're looking at the video, which means it's leaning Trump, but it could go the other way. Now, Wisconsin, this one is close. This one is really close. So you have 95% of precincts counted. Donald Trump has 1.59 million votes, pretty much 1.6 million votes. And Joe Biden has 1.61 million votes. So Joe Biden is ahead by about 11,000 votes. That's within the margin of error. Now, and in that case, I can see a state not being called, right? It can easily go either way, being that close and that tight. But I'm not sure if you go back to like Georgia, 94% of the precincts in, Donald Trump up by 100,000 votes. I think that state needs to be called for Donald Trump, but maybe I don't understand the breakdown of the population of Georgia. North Carolina, I could possibly see this being, a heated one, because it's a fairly, small margin, about 36,000 votes spread between Joe Biden and Donald Trump. Donald Trump being ahead with 94% of precincts counted. So I get that. But then you go to a state like Nevada. Now this is going to be an interesting one, because there's only an 8,000 vote spread so far, and 67% of the votes have been counted. That's an interesting one. Arizona, I'm going to go ahead and say it. I personally believe there's some fraud going on in Arizona, and I've actually believed that since the midterm election of 2018. And I'm going to tell you why I believe that. So I'm going to go to the Fox News page, and I want to show you something about Arizona. Okay, so Arizona right now, Joe Biden has 1.41 million votes. Donald Trump has 1.31 million votes, right? So like I said, roughly 100,000 vote spread, and maybe that can't be made up with the number of people left. Like I said, I'm naive to exactly how the precincts break down as far as population. So maybe this is actually very accurate. And if it is, I understand. There's a lot I don't know that maybe I should know about how those precincts break down. But I want to show you something from 2016. So in the 2016 election, Donald Trump got 1.25 million votes in Arizona, and Hillary Clinton got 1.16. Roughly a little bit under 100,000 vote spread, I'd say about an 89,000 vote spread, give or take. You mean to tell me that Joe Biden was such a better candidate than Hillary Clinton that he made up the difference and closed the gap? I don't know, man. I don't know if I can believe that. I honestly do not know if I can believe that. Now in Pennsylvania, so in the 2016 election, Hillary Clinton had 1.9 million votes. Trump had 1.7 million votes. So, okay. And, places like Virginia, I don't think a Republican will win for many years to come. New York, we already know how that goes. California is always interesting. Look how far that pendulum swung. Texas was, let's see how close Texas was in this election, if it was similar to last election. So Donald Trump in Texas has about, I'd give him about a 650,000 vote spread. Is that correct? 5.81 million votes for Trump to 5.15 million votes for Biden. So that's a pretty huge spread. What was it during the 2016 election? Oh, very, very similar. Very similar during the 2016 election. So that makes sense. Florida, however, I believe Trump got resoundingly. I don't believe there was even any question. So in the 2016 election, Hillary Clinton had 4.5 million votes. Donald Trump had 4.6 million votes. 100,000 vote spread, still clear Trump victory. But this time around, Trump got 5.6 million votes to Biden's 5.2 million. Trump made major gains in the state of Florida. So again, bottom line is the states that are showing pink now, with Trump in the lead, those states go to Trump, he wins hands down. So I'm going to tell you what's going to be the states to watch. This is going to be the states to watch. So Michigan is close. 89% of votes tallied. So I could see that going either way. I honestly can. Just being realistic. Trump has 3.86 million votes, or 2.386 million votes. Biden has 2.35 million votes. That could go either way. Pennsylvania, I just don't know. Let's look at the total number of votes in Pennsylvania from the 2016 election. So 2.92 million for Hillary and 2.97 million for Trump. So 2.9 roughly million, little bit under 3 million per candidate. And right now in Pennsylvania, let's see, you have, let me refresh this because my screen is going crazy. Let me go back to the Fox News one. All right. I don't know why it's saying, there we go, 2020. Okay. So back to the 2020 live election. Trump has 2.965 million votes to Biden's 2.2 million votes in Pennsylvania. I'm calling it. I'm sorry, my page might get banned for this, but I'm just going to go ahead and say it. If Joe Biden comes back and wins Pennsylvania, I'm calling foul ball. And this is not about a us versus them, conservatives versus liberal. This is all of us, whether you're libertarian, conservative, liberal, Republican, Democrat, libertarian, independent, no party affiliation. I personally have no party affiliation, but I want this to be done fairly. And I don't think it is being done fairly. I think that there is definitely fraud going on. And you might disagree, and I understand that. But as I said in the video the day before the election, I honestly believe that the Democratic Party has every intention on cheating during this election. And I believe that they have showed us exactly that. This is crazy. We should know right now who the president of the United States is. It should be no question. In my opinion, we're being held hostage by the media. And we already know what all the technocrat overlords have decided. If anybody calls it for one candidate or the next, their page is going to be banned. I just showed you the election map. I'm explaining what I think, and I believe I have at least, at a bare minimum, I have some circumstantial evidence to back up what I'm saying. So I'm not just going off hearsay and some nut job conspiracy theory. Our elections and the integrity of our elections need to be protected, because if we can't trust that, then what can we trust as far as the elections are concerned? Y'all know what it is. Stay frosty, people.